Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate ringsidenews.com. Before I get started here, quick plug I want to get out of the way, NoDQ.com/columns. I've been reposting some of my old MySpace blogs from back in 2005. I've posted a pay-per-view review, One Night Stand. I've been posting DVD reviews, my initial reaction to the self-destruction of Ultimate Warrior back in 2005. So check those columns out, NoDQ.com/columns. You can read some of my old thoughts from back in the day. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions via spring.me/AaronRift. First one today comes from John Drix Romano. Hey Aaron, I heard some rumors that WWE is going to turn the Wyatt family babyface. What do you think of this? Do you think it will work for or against the Wyatt family? Well, it already feels like the Wyatt family are becoming baby faces, and it certainly seems like that is the direction that WWE is going in the storyline. The fact that during Bray Wyatt's promos, he's been acknowledging the fact that the fans have been cheering for him more and more, and that the fans are continuing to boo John Cena. And they did this angle on Raw where the fans were able to vote John Cena into a 3-on-1 match, so it kind of feels like the fans are turning on John Cena. So if John Cena ever does turn heel, he can use that as an excuse that the fans turned on him before he turned on them. It's interesting. It's interesting to see where the storyline is going, but quite frankly, I'm holding my breath regarding a John Cena heel turn. I continue to get questions about it. I'll believe it when it happens. Beyond that, I think that John Cena in the end will overcome the odds as he usually does, and this is just a feud for him to keep him busy. And I got this question here from Glee Chan. Hey Aaron, what's the point in the John Cena versus Bray Wyatt feud? Cena's beat Bray with interference at WrestleMania, and last Raw he won 1 against 3. They can't even let the Wyatts win on TV, so what's the point? Why should I care about Extreme Rules? That's a great question, and I even talked about this before WrestleMania. I said that if John Cena beats Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, why are we seeing a rematch between these two? John Cena already beat him, and clearly on Raw he can take them 3-on-1. So once again, I would be very surprised if John Cena goes heel as a result of this storyline. It just seems to me like it's the typical Super Cena overcoming the odds. And I really feel that the whole point of the storyline is just John Cena having something to do until he gets back into the main event picture, which I think will happen sooner than later. I think that in all likelihood, it'll be John Cena versus Daniel Bryan sometime later this summer. I don't know if it'll be SummerSlam or Money in the Bank or Battleground, one of those pay-per-views. I think it's inevitable that we get the Super John Cena, the babyface John Cena versus Super Daniel Bryan, who's been in that Super Cena type role, starting with WrestleMania, overcoming all the odds. You put these two forces against each other. I think it's bound to happen, that big rematch between Cena and Daniel Bryan. I just think that the Bray Wyatt feud is, something for John Cena to keep him busy while Daniel Bryan's feuding with Kane and Batista and Randy Orton and whatnot. So I think that we will see a Bray Wyatt babyface turn at some point, going back to the first question. I think it's a matter of time. I think that, that's the direction that the fans wanted to go in. They're cheering him. They like the gimmick. And I think it will happen at some point. But a John Cena heel turn, I'm still not going to believe it until I see it. All right, got another question here. Hey, Aaron, have you seen the Ultimate Legend documentary on the network? If so, I'd like to know your thoughts on it. I thought it was a great and very emotional documentary. I agree. It was one of the best documentaries that WWE has ever produced, and I think that it might have had even more of an emotional impact because it's just coming off the death of the Ultimate Warrior. But with that being said, WWE did an excellent job producing it, and it just had a great flow, and it told the Ultimate Warrior story. I think that it went a little bit quick. I would have liked to have heard more details, but that's what Ultimate Warrior's DVD is for. You can get all the backstage gossip and all the stories from Warrior's side on the DVD. But as far as this goes, just summing up the Warrior's career and showing the backstage footage of him during WrestleMania weekend, I mean, it was excellent. And I really hope WWE does more of these documentaries. Another one I wanted to make note of was Daniel Bryan's. I really enjoyed that one as well. And I like these documentaries that they show of them, you know, WrestleMania weekend and the whole backstage process and just leading up to the big event. I definitely think WWE should do more of these. And in fact, I am expecting them to do more now with the network. You know, they're going to want exclusive content for the network, and these seem like logical things to do, these documentaries of the wrestlers just prior to WrestleMania. And it's just interesting that they had all this footage of the Warrior, and then you know, right before he died, they have this big. I mean, it's just so surreal, that this whole story of the Ultimate Warrior. So I mean, you definitely have to check it out if you haven't seen it already. All right, this one comes from Whitson774. Hey Aaron, what do you think WWE will do at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view? Just have one ladder match, or have two matches, one for the WWE title, one for the mid-card title, or even two matches for the WWE title, giving two separate superstars a briefcase? Please answer in video. Honestly, at this point, I think that it should just be one Money in the Bank match this year. I think that the fact that Damian Sandow won the Money in the Bank and he went nowhere, I think that two is overkill. I think you should just stick to one, especially now when there's just one championship, unless they plan on splitting the titles again before Money in the Bank. In that case, you can do the two matches. But I think if you're going to have one world title, you should just have one Money in the Bank match and really put the focus on that winner, rather than having two winners. One guy gets the big push and then the other guy just, you know, fails to cash it in or whatever. So I'd like to see just one match. And, you know, like the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, I think that, you know, two chamber matches is overkill, and it's best to just do one match a year, and, you know, it makes it all that more special. So I think that they should just stick to one match for sure. All right, this one comes from TMNT Brownie 33. Hey Aaron, if more wrestlers walked out on WWE from being too burned out and frustrated, do you see them considering having an off season in the future? They all look terrible. The Big Show has huge bags under his eyes. I think September to December would be the ideal time. Well, that would be the ideal time, because that's usually when wrestling has its most competition on television, when you have NFL season. And it's just, you know, considered to be WWE's low point creatively. You know, WrestleMania season, from the Rumble to WrestleMania, that's usually when there's the most interest in WWE. And then again in the summer with SummerSlam. But yeah, definitely during the fall period, there's not a whole lot of interest, and it's usually a slow period in WWE. With that being said, don't think it's going to happen, and here's why. Let's just say a bunch of guys decided to walk off and leave. The thing with that is you're always going to have other guys on the sideline ready to step up and work a full-time schedule. And guys are afraid of losing their spots. So it's unlikely that you would see a large group of guys, you know, bond together and form like a union or whatever and just walk away, because you're always going to have other guys ready to take those spots. So as much as I think it would benefit the talent to have an off season, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the best situation is where you're somebody like Rob Van Dam, where you've made a name for yourself. You know, guys like Rob Van Dam and Chris Jericho, guys that have become big stars, and they have that leverage where they can negotiate a deal where they can come in for 3 months and then take 3 months off and just come back and you know, just work at their own leisure. Unfortunately, a lot of guys don't have that luxury because they don't have the name value that guys like RVD and Jericho have. But I really hope that WWE will you know, be more open to letting guys that have established themselves take time off. I'm sure Big Show could take time off if he wanted to, because he is an established name, and you know, he's been with the company for a long time. So I think that if he really felt he needed to step away for a while, WWE would let him take time off. All right, this one comes from ClarkyBoy123. Do you think that this is Kane's final run? I think that it all depends on what Glenn Jacobs wants to do. Does he want to call it a career? I think that you've really done all you can do with the Kane character, and especially after watching this latest run with him being the corporate Kane, it really feels like you've gotten as much mileage out of the Kane character as you can get. And I think it should be close to time for him to step away. But that is going to be his decision when he feels it's time to walk away. I think that he does have other things he can do. You know, he's very interested in politics, and he can get more into that, more involved with that stuff. But as far as the wrestling career, I think for a lot of guys, they want to keep going until their body tells them enough is enough. But I think that if he has the option, he should probably consider maybe finishing up at next year's WrestleMania and then calling it a career. I mean, I don't know what else you can do with the Kane character at this point. All right, one more question here from Wrestling Do 95. Yo, Aaron, what were your thoughts on Raven's time in TNA, and what was his best rivalry during this time in the company? Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot about Raven's run in TNA. I know he feuded with Jeff Jarrett. He had some matches with Jarrett. He had matches with Shane Douglas. I actually remember this hair match where James Mitchell ended up scalping Raven. He was shaving his head, and Raven was bleeding, and it was quite brutal. Actually, you can look for a clip on YouTube. It was actually one of the most memorable moments of the early TNA period when they were doing the weekly pay-per-views. So, I mean, Raven did have some moments in TNA that stood out. But then again, it was during this period when they were doing the weekly pay-per-views. They didn't have national television, and it's easy to forget a lot of Raven's run in TNA. But yeah, I mean, it was decent for sure. There were some things that still stand out to me, but I don't know if a lot of people watching this will remember most of them if they weren't watching those weekly pay-per-views, and not a lot of people were back in the day. Alright, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Tell a friend about NoDQ&A video, and I will see you guys next time for more. Thanks for watching.